Welcome to Yeshiva Dash, your sponsor, Louis Nishmas and Abiyak Sholem and Lev Asitzchok. We're holding in Metzia Daf Peches. We're starting at the bottom of the Pizayim base. Says the Gemara, Omar Rav Yadai, Ein hatevel mischayev b'maiser. You're not obligated to give maiser. The Peches on the top. Achi yuri preabais, which means you have fruits that chayav in maestris, they're abundant, it's fruits and vegetables, and all fruits. What is the moment that the obligation of maestris starts? So it says, Rabbi Yanai, it's only once it comes into the house. Until it doesn't come to the house, until you don't bring the fruits from the field into the house, there's no obligation to take out, to remove the maiser that needs to go to the lake. Now, what is Pnei HaBayit? As Rashi says, the door of the house. You need to go through the door. If you go from other locations, it is not chayav. She'emar b'yarti hakodesh min habayis. In Vidu Meiser, it says, I took away the kodesh from the house. Mashma, the house is the location where there's a chiyuv Meiser. Rabbi Yochanan says, afilu chotzer kribas. You don't have to go to the house. It's enough the courtyard. She'emar ve'achlu b'sharecho v'saveyu. It says the word b'sharecha. Sharecha means shar. Shar is a courtyard in the stance, right? So once it comes into your shar, into your gate, so then it's already chayav in ma'aser. Now, Tais points out over here that though Rabbi Yanai says that you're chayav in ma'aser only when it goes to the house, but if it goes to the chatzir, you're chayav miderabbanan. So there is a chiyuv on a chatzir according to Rabbi Yanai as well. Says the Gemara, what about the house? Chatzir is kriveya, but only if it's mishtameres. Only if it's a guarded chatzir, which is closed up. The Yerushalmi, by the way, this Gemara fitting exactly to the Gemara in Yerushalmi. They're learning right now. The Yerushalmi right now is learning Meseches Maestros in the Daf Yomi and the current Daf Yomi cycle. So it's not the same sugyas over there. And the Gemara there speaks about Chotzer Mishtameres. It's a Mishnah. What is the definition of Chotzer Mishtameres? Think about Chalekes Tanoim. How do you define Chotzer Mishtameres? Exactly. But the concept is, it's a Chotzer which things are guarded in it, and a person can rely on it to be guarded, and that's not something where anybody can go in. Rabbi Yanai is going to do B'shorecho. So we said before, Pnei HaBayit has to go through the entrance of the house. He also has to go through the entrance of the chutzah to get to the house. Someone goes through some kind of a alleyway, a shortcut to get into the house. There's not chiyuv ma'aser. Says the Gemara, Meisi Rav Chanino Chizo. So Chanino Chizo has a question. It says kinavshon. Now we're going back to our sugyo, the sugyo that we're learning. What are we learning? We're learning regarding a poyel. The din is that a poyel, a worker who's working in the field, he's allowed to eat while he's working. It's a mitzvah. You have to allow the poyel to eat the food while he's working in the field. It tells the pasuk kinavshon, as you wish, as you want to eat, you can eat as much as you wish. Kinavshon. So you learn like this: kinavshon kanavshon poyel. The balabais, if he goes and eats fruits, he's potter. Why is he potter? He's potter because it's not yet chayav ma'aser. Chayav ma'aser, there needs to be gemar melochas to be finished, and it has to be roya pnei habayis, roya pnei chatzor. We'll see in a moment. So that's why balabais, if he's eating, if he's walking in his field, and you didn't yet finish the whole process, so you're not chayav ma'aser. Now, what about a poyel? It says a poyel is like the balabais. Kinavshach, like you eat with no limitations. So ma navshach oichlu patur, you eat kinavshach with no limitations, and there's no chiyuv ma'aser. Am navshach poyel oichlu patur. So here is the learning, here is the limud, that a poyel who is working in the field and is eating, he's patur min ma'aser. Right? That's right. What would be the havamino? Then a poyel will be chayav ma'aser. Why should be chayav? It's not finished. He didn't come to see the chutzah. He didn't come to see the house. The prayers did not go still in the field. So really, it's the next line of the Gemara. Says the Gemara, from here you see that that's what the Torah is trying to tell you. The Torah, or at least it's a smach. We'll see in a moment. The Torah is saying that the poil who's working in the field, he doesn't have an obligation. Basha, if it would not be a poil, it would be somebody else who purchases the fruits. He is chayav meiser. That's what Torah is telling you. Balabais is not chayav, but look, there will be a buyer who buys the fruits from the balabais. He's chayav meiser. Says the Gemara, my labasode in the field, and you see the obligation of meiser can happen. Even if you're not in the chutzner, even if you're not in the house. Here we're talking about a fig tree. Now, we should already have a problem with fig tree. Because the pashtus we're talking about, the Lashon Gemara over here, we're talking about the Deraisa. Not the Rabbanon. We're talking about the Deraisa. So everything with Deraisa, the only things that are chayav and meiser or dogon, tir, shviyitzer, which is grapes, olives, and wheat, but not a fig. Fig tree is chayav midrabanan, but not midraisa. So the Rishonim Tais already asked this question over here. Why are we saying te'eino if we're talking about deraisa? Well, Tais says the fig tree was the common tree they had those days, and the fig tree is chayav midrabanan, so we're mentioning it even though we're talking about deraisa. This leads to another problem. Someone just mentioned to me now in shul. If you learn the Yerushalmi of course says clearly the whole idea of lekeach that a buyer is chayav and meiser is only midrabanan, deraisa. And here we're talking about the deraisa. Is the Bava arguing Yerushalmi or not? Something to check out. But the Gemara right now is asking the following. Now lekeach, we're talking about deraisa. A buyer is chayav midraisa. Why is he chayav? It's in the field. So what's on the field? We're talking about a tree. It's on the field. What's the case? We're talking about te'ino imes begino, standing in a garden. But the branches are tilting into the chotzer. And until it reaches the house, talk about a tree which is outside in the field, tilting into the house. And therefore, when the lekeach takes the fruits from the branches, he's in the chotzer. Taking the fruits from the branches, he's in the house. So that's what's chayav meiser. Very chayav if you be in the field, do not be chayav meiser. So the Gemara yachi balabais damei chayav. So balabais all should be chayav. So everybody who takes from the tree should be chayav. Right now he's standing in the chotzer. Right now he's standing in the house. So the Gemara balabais einoi beteinosoi. Lokach eino b'miklei. It's very simple. What is the focus of the person who's eating the fruits? The balabais, he's focused on, he's focused on the trunk of the tree. The trunk is outside. The trunk, the main part of the tree, is not in the chotzer. So even though right now he's taking some fruits in the chotzer, the ikar machshava that he has is on the entire tree, which is outside of the chotzer. Mashhenken, when we're talking about the lekeach, the buyer, what is the buyer doing? The buyer is taking fruits. These fruits that he's taking, that's the only fruits he's taking. He's not taking the rest. So he's chayav meiser wherever he's holding. Right now he's holding in the chotzer, he's holding in the house. He's chayav meiser. That's a Rashi words. Right. Tosfos disagrees on Rashi, because Rashi explains that we talk about the balabais has in mind that he's looking at where the tree is. Tosfos says nothing to do with that. It has to do when you do a pile. Because you have to take the fruits and make a pile out of them. So when you make a pile, the balabais is not finished by taking one or two fruits until he doesn't collect all the fruits of the tree. And the lekeach, whatever he takes, that's what he's taking, he's not taking more. But Rashi learns it has to do with the location of the tree. So he has in mind for the trunk, which is outside. The trunk will be in the chotzer, according to Rashi, who will have ma'aseh even if he takes a little bit. So Rashi is arguing, what happens if you have a tree in the chotzer and the balabais takes two fruits? Is it chayav ma'aseh or not? According to Rashi, yes. According to Tosfos, is not. Says the Gemara, you're saying the midoraisa you're chayav. That's the whole sugi right now. Midoraisa you're chayav. You have an brayso v'ma choribu chanuyoy shabis hinui shalishoni kodem Yerushalayim. Before Churban Yerushalayim, there was a churban of the stores of Beis Hinu. It's called Chanuyoy shabis hinui, and that's a place. Why did they get destroyed 3 years before Churban Abayis? What does it mean, divrei Torah? She says, something, and they went and said, Torah is okay, I'm going to follow the Torah. Show you, what do they learn? It says, it says, aser ta'aser v'ochalto. You have to do meiser and eat. Not sure you who's eating, the one who's taking the fruits, he's doing the meiser. So you learn from here, someone who's selling the fruits, he's not obligated to meiser. The meiser is the one who buys the fruits. So it says clearly in the right, so there's no obligation for a buyer to be Chayav Meiser, as we mentioned in the Yerushalmi. It says the Gemara cross. So clearly, the Gemara tells us here, and this fits, like I said before, fits with the Yerushalmi, that the concept of Lukeach is Miduraiso. The Gemara is saying Miduraiso. A Lukeach is Potter, the P'tur of when we're saying the Mekach is Chayav Meiser, that's only Midarabana. But Miduraiso, Lukeach is Potter Meiser. It's only if the same guy takes the fruits from the tree and eats it, he's going to be Chayav Meiser. But a Moicher Lukeach Potter. It's only a din for Asmachta Be'alma. Now, here there's a very big, important Machlekes, Tosfos, and Rambam. We're going on Lukeach. When is a Lukeach Potter and when is Lukeach Chayav? The Tosfos and the Rambam argue they're mamish the opposite of each other. What is it? Let's just know the Machlekes. This is Machlekes. For the Machlekes. The Shaila is like this. Do we say that a Lukeach, there's two stages. There's the owner of the fruits goes and he has a tree. What is the owner Mischad b'Meiser? The Chiyuv of Meiser, as we mentioned, without going down to the house and all that, let's leave that aside for a second. We're talking about that the Chiyuv is Mishas Miruach. Miruach means we make a pile out of it. Make a pile, and it's ready, it's finished, the Melacha. So then there's obligation to do Chiyuv Meiser. Shaila is, if the owner already did Miruach and then he sold it, does the buyer have a Meiser or not? We're looking at with the Raisa, buyer's Potter. What is he Potter? So the Tosfos and the Rambam have exact opposite svars regarding that. The Tosfos learns that, Tosfos learns, we have it over here in a Mudalef, that the whole discussion here is that the Lukeach takes after Miruach, meaning the owner already made it Chayav Meiser. Now the buyer comes and buys it. He's not Chayav Meiser anymore. He's not Chayav because the owner had an obligation on Meiser, and that obligation was taken away once you have a buyer. But if the Lukeach took it before Miruach, he took it before the Gemara Malacha, and he's the one who made a pile out of it. So because he made the pile, it's Chayav Meiser. Whoever makes the pile is Chayav Meiser. So if the Moicher made the pile is Chayav Meiser, you sell it, that chiyuv goes away. But if the Lukeach makes the pile, so he is Chayav Meiser. That's Tosfos. And the Rambam is the exact opposite. The Rambam learns the ones the owner made a chiyuv Meiser, now you can't take it away. But if the owner never made a chiyuv Meiser and the buyer made a chiyuv Meiser, so then the chiyuv Meiser doesn't start. So big machlekes and a big discussion. How to learn it. Many inyonim have to do with this machlekes. Let's keep that in mind. We have this machlekes. Says the Gemara. Okay, but we said the pasuk is kenavshchol. We learn from there. Kenavshchol tell you that a worker can eat without meiser, but a buyer. But you just said the buyer is only a smachta be'alma. So what do you learn for kenavshchol? Okay, that with following bright. So kenavshchol man navshchol if chasam the potter yourself. If you go and you block your mouth and don't eat while you're harvesting, there's no problem. You're allowed to do that. So apoyim chasam the potter. So also by apoyim, even though you have to allow him to eat, but if you didn't allow him to eat, it's not a chiyuv, not a lav, like you have an animal. By an animal, if you block the animal's mouth, you're even going to eat so v'lo. By apoyim, you don't. Says the Gemara, Metzia Barzutro, which brings the question: what is the pile of the Chayav Meiser? What is the Gemara Melacha? When do you finish? Miposku means you take out kishu dilum different types of gourds, and the gourds have like a stem that connects to the fruit. When that stem is removed, that's when you say that's finished. Even in the field. Right? So this goes back to what we said before. Even in the field, when you do it. According to you, as we just learned before, you chayav only when it comes to the chutzner or to the house. Says the Gemara, look, Mishi Posku abites. It has to be in the house. According to you, you're not coming to tell me that the minute there is a pikus, the minute you remove the stem, you're chayav. You're going to tell me the opposite. Even though we went to the house and went to the chutzner, it's still not chayav until you take out the stem. So the word should be, not in the minute you have pikus, you have a problem. It's ad you have pikus. So when you tell that pikosu, avamina ki gumar le pikusay, until it finishes completely. Once that stage begins in these fruits, you start taking them out, you already have in mind on the whole thing. Right? So you have it in. As we mentioned before, you have a chiyuv ma'aser once you have a gemar malacha. Ve'ezu gemar malacha. What's a gemar malacha? Melech is a chnasosim. When you come and you, so the Gemara understands what chnasosim means. When you pile them up. Once you pile them up, you chayav. Ma'alav chnasosim afilu b'sodi. When you pile them up here in the field, it's called lo chnasosim labais. Chnasosim not piling. Right? Kinus chnasosim can be two words. It can be either loshon kinus, gathering, or loshon chnasosim, bringing it in. Says the Gemara, talk about bringing it in. That's what we're talking about. Says the Gemara, when did your Aviyanai say that when it comes into the house, you have it not before? Yeah. Says, when did Aviyanai say that? They say, talk about grapes and olives, they don't make a pile out of them. So there you have only once it comes in the house. Wheat and barley, once you make a pile out of it in the field, that's the Gemara. So that's the thing. Because that's the Gemara over there. So when the Gemara it teaches us right now, when is a chiyuv ma'aser? Well, it depends. If it's something you make a pile of it, what do you mean you make a pile? Gemara malacha. If you don't make a pile, so once you put it into the house or into the chutzner. So we're going back now to the point. Psukim tell you that an Adam who's working, he can take food. And you learn from the Pasuk. Why? Because the Pasuk tells you by Adam, what the Pasuk is? That's supposed to be said before. Or what we're talking about there, he's cutting off either from the grain or from the grapes, thinking from the tree. We're talking about that it's connected to the ground. That's when you have a chiyuv, that's when you're allowed to take food. And by the Be'ema it says, lo tachsob shor b'dishon. Dishon means threshing. Threshing means once it's not connected to the ground. So an animal is referring to when it's disconnected. You have to allow the animal when it's working on the food to eat. And an Adam is talking about the pasuk when it's connected to the ground. That's what you find. Says the Gemara. So Ashkechon, where the pasuk speaks about Adam eating from fruits that are connected to the ground. The shor betolush shanax eating from disconnected. Adam betolush minol. How do you know that Adam eating from a disconnected fruit, he's allowed to eat from it? Kavachayim mishor. If a shor is not eating when it's connected, if you assume he doesn't eat if you're connected, we'll see the moment he does. He can eat the talush. Adam shoychel b'chubar and then shoychel b'talush. Although it says clearly in the pasuk that he eat from b'chubar, of course he can eat from talush. Ma'al shor shekrat mitzubah chasimosay. Yeah, but shor we learned you have loisachsoy, you have a lav if you muzzle him. We said before, you're not really obligated if you block his mouth. So you can't be alright? So that he gufo. Let's learn the Yisur Lav to block a person from eating. You're not obligated to feed the shore. Make sure that he lives By Adam, you have to feed your brother. Because you can't black him when he's working. I'm like, oh, so you learn for nafshecha. We said before, the Pasuk said before, so if you block a man's mouth, you're not chayav, there's no issue. In other words, if you don't allow the poil to eat, there's no issue. It's not allowed. You have a mitzvah to give him to eat, there's no lav if you didn't give him to eat. Also going back to the question, how do you know that an Adam is allowed to eat when he's working on fruits where he's detached? I'm like, oh, kamo based poem, it says kamo twice. Extra word kamo, teaches you that it teaches you that you have a heter to eat even metosh, right? It says kamo twice. So to teach you that an extra word teaches you that you can eat even from tosh. Okay, so now you have a pasuk that teaches you that Adam can eat when he's working on grain, fruits that are connected to the ground and disconnected from the ground as well. Says the Gemara, Rav Ami Otmai, Adam Mitosh Lo Tzorch Bar, a pasuk for that. Ksiv Kisov V'Kem Recho. Tells you go into the vineyard of your friend. You know, what do you do in the vineyard? Not necessarily you taking fruits and harvesting from and disconnecting the fruit from the tree. You're talking also about that he has other works you have in the vineyard. One of the works is to schlep grapes. Maybe that's what you're talking about. So this is a punch shot. In the vineyard, some of the jobs that you have in the vineyard is also dealing with tosh. So how do you know that a shor is allowed to eat from when he's working in the field with items that are connected to the ground? Adam doesn't eat from disconnected. He doesn't eat when it's connected, as we just saw it. Now, what do you mean? We just learned the Adam is a chabatosh. So there's two ways to understand. Either pshat is, let's go back to square one. Before I knew the Adam was a chabatosh, let's talk about Adam. Or the pshat is, Adam is not a chabatosh, finished with the Raisa. That's what Chaim Krevsky explains in the Yerushalmi. Because we have Amish to say Gemara in the Yerushalmi. The Raisa doesn't say in the Torah that Adam is a chabatosh. So we're saying Adam doesn't say clearly Tosh, it doesn't say clearly Mechubar. So Adam, you don't find Tosh. It says Mechubar. Sure, they eat the Tosh clearly, is of course it's Mechubar. It says in the Pasuk Tosh. Yeah, but Adam, you have to feed it. You have there's no obligation to make sure the animal lives. So okay, so let's learn Gufa that assure you have to feed him. You don't have Isur to muzzle him, as we saw. You do have to muzzle him. So clearly, you have a special just custom. So I know that there's no chiyuv of chiyus to the shor. So going back to square one, how do I know that an animal can eat mechubar? It says re'echo twice. It said so before we said the kamo says twice. Now we say the word re'echo says twice. You don't have to tell me Adam Mechubar because when it says the finish of the pasuk, so this is the limud. Is the limud from the actual words of the pasuk. So the according to this Gemara, we learned the extra word kamo teaches the Adam was kinid betolush. The extra word re'achot teaches them a baby kinid mechubar. So more Ravina says, similar to what we said before, Ravami, I don't need a pasuk for that. I know it that they can eat them both. It says, do not muzzle an animal when it's threshing, going in disconnected produce. All animals, you're not allowed to muzzle. As we learned, the rule, we learn about Bakamo, whenever it says a shor, it means all animals. We learn from Shabbos, whenever I speak about animals, I speak of every animal, there's no difference. Okay, let's do one of those sodush bechasimo. So you don't have to say the word shor. Just say don't, but muzzle. Don't let the animal thresh on the tool. With muzzled. Shor because of one lamali. Why it says the word shor? And we try, not all animals included. It says, lo yisach soim is Adam. Sure. So doing a hekesh between the animal and the Adam. The Adam who muzzles and the animal who's being muzzled. By Adam, we know that he eats from connected fruits, as we saw before, from the grapes and the tuo. For beim as well. The same way an animal eats when it's disconnected. Is the hekesh to teach you an Adam to beim or beim to Adam that you're always allowed to eat. So what's the rule? The rule is say Adam or beim. When you give a poil the rishus to go and work in the field, he's working for you. He's allowed to eat with some conditions. It's Gemara Malach, etc. We saw in the previous daf, and I'm going to go back to it. You're allowed to eat while he's working. And similarly regarding an animal. When an animal is working in the field, she can eat, and regardless if the produce is connected or disconnected, they always have a heter to eat. The only difference is that the law of Loisachsoim applies to a behemoth only and not to a man. So, we'll stop over here.